Japan's car industry is a story of resilience, strategy, and a touch of cultural flair. After World War II, Japan was in a tough spot. The country needed to rebuild its economy, and the car industry seemed like the perfect way to do it. So, the government stepped in with policies to support local production and keep foreign competition at bay. This move gave birth to many car companies, each fighting to make its mark on the market. But how did Japan manage to rise so quickly in the world of cars? Well, part of it has to do with something called the keiretsu system. This is a network of companies working closely together, kind of like a family. Car makers in Japan formed these tight-knit groups with their suppliers. This allowed them to cut costs and improve efficiency, giving them an edge over foreign car companies. Think of it like a well-oiled machine, where every part knows its role and works perfectly with the others. One of the smartest moves by Japanese car makers was their focus on global markets. They didn't just look at Japan, they had their eyes on the whole world. By the 1970s and 1980s, Japanese cars had flooded the US and Europe. They were small, reliable, and fuel efficient. Everything people needed as gas prices soared. And it wasn't just luck, it was a well-planned strategy that paid off big time. Now, let's talk about innovation and quality. Have you ever heard of lean manufacturing? It's a method that focuses on reducing waste and improving efficiency, and it was made famous by Toyota. This approach didn't just make Toyota better, it changed the entire industry. Japanese car makers became known for making cars that were not only affordable, but also super reliable. That's a big reason why brands like Toyota and Honda and Nissan are household names today. But it's not just economics and strategy, there's a cultural side to this story too. In Japan, people have a strong preference for local brands. Cars like Toyota and Honda are seen as trustworthy and practical, while foreign cars are often viewed as luxury items, which are expensive to maintain. This cultural mindset has helped local brands thrive. Speaking of catering to local needs, have you ever seen a K car? These are tiny, boxy cars designed for Japan's narrow streets and limited parking spaces. They are small, cheap, and easy to drive. This is a perfect example of how Japanese car makers have adapted to their home market's unique demands, creating a niche that supports multiple manufacturers. But the success of Japan's car industry isn't just a result of good business sense and cultural factors. It's also a result of government support. After the war, the government provided loans, subsidies, and even production contracts to car companies. They introduced laws to keep foreign cars out and gave local companies room to grow. The Automobile Manufacturing Industry Law of 1936 is a prime example. It imposed high tariffs on imported cars and restricted foreign companies from operating freely in Japan. This move allowed local giants like Toyota and Nissan to build up without facing overwhelming competition. The government didn't stop there. During the 1970s oil crisis, they pushed car companies to develop fuel-efficient vehicles. This wasn't just smart, it was visionary. As gas prices shot up around the world, Japan's fuel-efficient cars became even more attractive, boosting their global appeal. So, what's the big picture here? Japan's car industry is a result of a perfect storm of government support, smart business strategies, and cultural preferences. But there's a deeper lesson to be learned. It's about adaptability. Japan didn't just copy what others were doing. They took global trends and made them their own, creating cars that fit both local and international needs. And in doing so, they created an industry that stands as one of the world's leaders today. Now, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the history and success of Japan's car industry, why not hit that subscribe button? It's a great way to stay tuned for more stories like this. But while Japan's car industry is impressive, it's not without its challenges. For one, the domestic market is shrinking. Fewer people in Japan are buying cars, especially young people who find them too expensive or just prefer public transport. This means car makers have to rely even more on their global sales. And with the rise of electric vehicles, Japanese companies, which have long been leaders in hybrid technology, need to step up their game to stay relevant. There's also the issue of quality. While Japanese cars are still seen as reliable, there have been some high-profile recalls in recent years. This could be a sign that the industry is struggling to maintain the high standards it set decades ago. And let's not forget the competition. South Korean companies like Hyundai and Kia are making huge strides, and they're starting to rival Japanese cars in terms of quality and price. Despite these challenges, Japan's car industry remains a powerhouse. It's a testament to what can be achieved with a clear vision, strong support, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances. From the ashes of World War II to the bustling global markets of today, Japanese car makers have proven that they're here to stay. In the end, the story of Japan's car industry is more than just about cars. It's about resilience, innovation, and the power of smart strategy. It shows us that even in the face of adversity, success is possible if you're willing to learn, adapt, and push forward. And that's a lesson we can all take to heart, whether we're in the car business or not. So, the next time you see a Toyota, Honda, or Nissan on the road, remember the incredible journey that car has been on. From the factories of Japan to the highways of the world, it's a story of passion, ingenuity, and a drive to be the best. That's something worth appreciating.